service, so she might need to go first. So turn it over to her.
Awesome. All right. So hi guys. So my rotation is the cardiac ICU team. It is labeled as cardiology because the cardiac ICU team follows you from your admission to the ICU to step down to the floor and then out. So it is a nice rotation in that you get to have some ICU flavor. Not quite like the MICU or the SICU, but certainly an ICU flair. But then you also get to have straight cardiology. You will have heart failure and ACS basically memorized by the end of the rotation. And then you also get to see the discharge process, transitions of care, going through that. The reviews of my rotation are that it is the most work I've ever done in my life, but it was a great time. So I try to style it as a kind of a residency prep type experience. There is a capacity challenge to it. I give you a lot of work. There is a required reading list. There's a Dropbox with all the things you have to do. Usually there's some type of research project or some type of patient case presentation. We meet every day to do topics and journal clubs. A lot of stuff happening. Drug of the day, learning log, a lot of things going on. So you can ask, I have Kevin and Darshan on today. They'll be at lunch. Bill, that she was talking about, took my rotation too, so he can tell you more about it from that perspective. It's a great time. I love doing it. If you like cardiology, ICU care, let me know. Yes?
You said you work with discharge. Do you work with the Meds to Vets program?
Yes, there is a Meds to Vets component. So you will definitely do some warfarin counseling. You will definitely do some discharge counseling for, we try to target kind of the higher risk patients. So we'll do targeted counseling that way. Cardiac ICU is primarily, again, you have heart is the big issue, but you get to see balloon pumps, you get to see ECOS, you get to see Impellas, mechanical ventilation, CRRT. So we get to have almost all the toys, as well as some cardiology specific drugs too. But yeah, we definitely do transitions of care. Morgan is an hour like this. She's the tech. Any other questions? Athens, do you all have any questions?
I don't think so.
All right, awesome. Thank you for listening.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Abu-Sawwa. So I'm new to the college. My specialty is in pediatrics. So the rotation that I will be offering next year will be kind of a general pediatrics outpatient rotation. It's primarily in the epilepsy and neurology clinic. So about half the week will be with the epilepsy clinic, and then the other half will be general pediatric neurology. So you'll get kind of a nice mix of both. It is primarily outpatient, so a lot of it will be, standard of what you would expect from ambulatory care. So counseling, medication reconciliations, that type of thing. That's pretty much all I have about the rotation. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Anyone, any questions in Athens?
No, ma'am, I think we're good.
Okay, awesome.
Hi everyone, I am Priya Narayanan. I am also a new research faculty started from August this year. So my projects will be completely research based. So whoever is interested in research based projects will be happy to train you. And the studies will be focused on identifying the mechanisms in eye diseases. The research projects are focused on diseases like diabetic retinopathy, optic neuritis, which is a complication in MS patients, as well as retinopathy of prematurity. So we'll be investigating the mechanisms of neuronal damage as well as vascular injury using some animal models as well as cell culture models in the laboratory. And my lab has 2 postdoctoral fellows, so they will be very willing to help anyone who is interested, as well as we have a two graduate students, one PhD and one master student starting from January. And also we have previous experience before relocating to UGA. We have had experience with medical students, graduate students, undergrads during summer research programs. So we'd be very happy to train anyone who is interested in research rotations. And I will also brief Shenoyla, who is another faculty in this department. So his lab is focused on identifying the molecular characterization of lung diseases such as acute lung injury as well as pulmonary fibrosis. They also study preclinical studies on target identification and new therapeutic development as well as patient sample analysis to identify biomarkers for these disease models. And in addition to the lung diseases, Shenoy Lab also performs research on identifying the molecular signatures of metastatic prostate cancer, identifying novel therapeutic targets and means to deliver drugs using nanotechnology. And also this lab has more than 10 years of history of training postdoctoral fellows, MS and PhD graduate students, APP and rotating PharmD students and PGY to oncology residents. So that is what the Shenoy Lab has to offer. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Could you speak to the projects, what happens to them, what kind of, is there presentation opportunities or publication opportunities?
Oh, sure, yes, yes. So the research projects, like they are they'll be run for a couple of years, but whoever is interested can join on an ongoing research program. So we'll be working with graduate students or postdoctoral fellows. Definitely we'll have the opportunity to present either at the local meetings because there is a Vision Discovery Institute located in the Augusta University, so there is annual retreats going on there, so that will be an opportunity to present, and also graduate students research day. And also we'll be able to, if possible, other, national conferences, depending on how much we can present. And also definitely part of publications and the society abstracts based on, how much we can produce during these 5 to 6 weeks of rotations. But that is definitely an opportunity for research projects. Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, guys, you've all had me in class. I've probably talked about some of these things in the past, so I don't want to repeat. When I came over to full-time faculty, it was like 2003, the department chair said, well, Rusty, you got to figure out what you want to do for rotation. I go, daggone it, Diane's doing drug information. That's my specialty. What could I do? So I tried to listen to students when I thought they needed. And the most common complaint among students was just not comfortable with infectious diseases. I'm just not comfortable with antimicrobials. And at the time, we were writing a proposal to hire an antimicrobial stewardship pharmacist. And if you probably mentioned this in management, it takes a long time to get these projects approved by administration. So I said, well, that's what I'll do. I'll do antimicrobial stewardship. And we created the rotation from that. So what we do is the typical day is you'll come in and you'll get a list of all the adult patients in the hospital over at AU who are on antimicrobials. And we'll select the patients that we'll follow based on what part of antimicrobial stewardship we're starting with. We typically start with IV to PO conversions. 1, because they're easy. 2, because it teaches you how to monitor a patient with an infectious disease. Because all the criteria you use to switch patients from one IV therapy to PO therapy is exactly what you would monitor anybody with an infectious disease. So it's a really good way to learn fast how to take care of somebody with infectious disease. Then we start adding other things on that are part of antimicrobial stewardship, like narrowing therapy once we get cultures and sensitivities back, looking at broad spectrum antibiotics and see if they're meeting the criteria that the Pharmacy Therapeutics Committee has approved for their use. They're getting an ID approval when it's necessary. Do they meet these basic criteria for getting this broad spectrum drug? So it's a great way to learn about really broad spectrum antimicrobials. let's see, we'll do a couple of formal case presentations, we'll have topic reviews. We do most of our work over here, so it's a really low stress rotation, but you're learning a lot about antimicrobials. Students typically tell me after the rotation, man, I'm ready to go on any rotation now. If there's anything that comes up with antibiotics, I'm the person. And they're not just saying they actually do it, they always come back and tell me that. So pretty convinced it's a great way to learn about antimicrobials in a non-stress situation. We really get to talk about them, see them in action. We do some patient education on antimicrobials. We'll also get called if there's adverse drug reactions or allergies related to antimicrobials. Do a good interview with the patient, make sure the allergy, it's a true allergy. Most of the time it's not. So we can really make some drugs available to patients who weren't available because of their past history of penicillin allergies, so to speak. I think that's about
Can you
it.
talk about kinetics?
What's that?
Kinetics?
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't say this in a public forum. We usually say this in the privacy of my office. But I'll teach you about doing pharmacokinetic monitoring. We'll parallel what the pharmacists are doing over there, so you'll see how it's done. And I actually have a way of doing vancomycin pharmacokinetics that's much, much easier and much, much more accurate than what you learn in class. But I'll tell you about, I told you that. I swear to you secrecy. Diane has even said in on some of those sessions because she said, this is so cool. But it's a way to visualize where the levels are and when they were drawn and what's actually happening with the patient. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. Pretty much spend a whole day doing that and you'll get really good at it. By the end of the rotation, you'll say that next trough is going to be 10.3. You'll come back 10.3, you'll be amazed. So pretty interesting and a lot of fun too. So I always like to have fun on rotations. Any questions from Athens or Augusta? Or other, you said just Athens and Augusta, right? Questions? Looking forward to having some of you folks on the rotation. You guys in Athens, I've had, this year I think I had 3 students who came just for their 4th year from Athens. So don't be bashful about signing up with me. We'll have a good time. All right, that's it.
All right. Thank you very much for the faculty coming in. I've already talked about my rotation, so I'll talk about it again. So you guys are welcome to stay, or if you want to go, we're going to talk about the non-AU rotations now. Thank you guys so much for coming. You guys sure you don't have any questions before they get out of here? No questions. Okay. All right. Thank you guys.